Welcome to House Rule, a podcast about role-playing. This is episode 27, the one where everything changes. Except not really. We're going to talk about some pretty exciting stuff, but it's the same format, and I'm still your number one guy, Ed, along with...
Ebo.
I'm Lee.
I'm Rory.
This is Jeff.
Wait, have we been working up to major changes? Because if we have been, no one told me. I mean, I have some stuff prepared, like on the back burner.
I was just hoping that maybe if I said it, it would become true.
Oh, sure, yeah. Well, I mean, we can
New changes.
Sounds
We
like
could,
the machinations of a large-scale manipulation device of some sort.
we
I
could
don't
off
know
one of
what
our
you're talking
co-hosts.
Deific entity.
We're back in our wheelhouse talking about White Wolf's World of Darkness.
I feel like it's been a long time since you used the term wheelhouse. That's a pretty major change.
Or
Okay.
White Wolf, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, we're in it. We're in it to win it now. There have been a couple of completely free documents disseminated by these fine publishers related to new products that they have been bringing out, and these new products are unto themselves practically game matter. The first one, which we'll touch upon very slightly, is they have a free rules update to go along with the God Machine Chronicle that they just released, which has dramatically revamped the core World of Darkness rules.
Yeah, that's...
And also they have quick start rules for the upcoming, soon-to-be-released Demon the Descent, which is a brand new game.
Sure. Demon the Descent. They released the quick start rules, which is what, like 50-something pages of stuff for people. I mean, it's actually I didn't look at a decent portion of it, like the GM-me stuff, in case someone ever wants to run it. I'm like, I'm not going to be that guy, so I didn't bother with it. But the first thing I wanted to ask is sort of a broad scope thing is, how well do you think it fits in with the rest of the World of Darkness stuff, like supernaturally stuff? Like it always seems to me that like the core ones are like, you know, like werewolves, vampires, and mages, and then you have like geists who don't really fit very well at all, and changelings who are up doing their own thing most of the time, you know, and then the other crazy ones.
Prometheans and mummies.
Yeah, and they're, who knows. It's like just reading very briefly over it. It seems like they sort of went the alternative route again, where they're like, they don't seem to. I don't know. They don't seem like they would jive super well with the other supernaturals.
It's interesting to join the two together, the new God Machine update and the demon material we've seen so far, because it seems like, far from what they released in the old World of Darkness under the Demon the Fallen game, they've basically introduced a huge swath of new material for the core World of Darkness game in the God Machine Chronicle that basically it details new aspects and elements to the core World of Darkness setting that you can use or discard, or you can use or discard in any of the other game lines. Tweak them however you want, incorporate them in the backgrounds of the game lines, or not incorporate them. And the new Demon game is very, very entwined with that new setting material.
Sure.
In the old setting, of course, the demons were very much rooted in Abrahamic tradition of God and angels and demons. Whereas now, the much more dubious God Machine and its indecipherable and unknowable intentions is the driving force behind a host of creepy to the max angels, and some of them who fall, in this case not necessarily down, kind of a lateral fall, to become demons.
Now, the impression I got from reading the quick start is that it fits really well. Like, when I read it, I was like, oh yeah, this sounds definitely like a World of Darkness game. I think it would fit about as well as like vampire or mage. I've never really got a great feel for werewolf, but yeah, it seems like you could run a mage game that deals with the god machine. You could run a vampire game that deals with the god machine. Um, so I don't know. It seems to
Right.
jive.
Well,
Yeah.
and they
That
make a.
said, the power level does seem to be a bit different.
I
It would be
couldn't
hard
really
to play a
tell.
mixed chronicle, I think, between like a vampire game with someone who played a demon.
I couldn't really tell from the quick start rules.
Yeah.
Just the nature of their abilities. It was hard to it was hard to easily grasp how you get them. Like how many of these powers do you start with, and how many of them, how easy are they to get? Because that sort of colors my expectations. But also that said, the if you tried to mix the Demon the Fallen characters with the old White Wolf game lines, demons would pretty much bonk everyone on the head right away.
Yeah.
Complete steamrollers. Those guys were
Yeah, they
invulnerable
were
killing
basically
machines.
Kind of
like-
like playing a noggin a werewolf game.
They basically were mages
Or
without
Naga
paradox and could change shapes like werewolves and have the strength and speed of vampires.
Yeah, they I actually like I spent most of my time reading that thing I think focused on the actual like the antagonist, the god machine and angels and stuff, and less of my time reading about the protagonists, just because I thought that the whole idea of the god machine and in general World of Darkness antagonists always seemed very cool to me. And the god machine seems like a very interesting space for GMs to build a chronicle out of. It's completely unknowable to the players, so you can do anything you want,
Mhm.
and the angels and stuff are so they're so like weirdly aberrant, and I don't know, it all seemed like a very interesting place to be a GM in.
I've looked at the actual God Machine Chronicle, the full book, and it gives a lot more of the setting material, whereas the free rules update almost exclusively talks about the just the rules changes. Although it does pepper in a healthy amount of God Machine fiction, which is actually pretty good.
Sure.
But yeah, that is one thread throughout the material I read so far, is that the writers aren't telling you what the truth about the God Machine and its related entities is, because the writers aren't deciding. They're leaving it completely up to an individual chronicle.
Now, while this is kind of open to debate and left open purposely, as you said, just to give a quick rundown, the basic idea is that the God Machine is like this over-entity that's manipulating the world in some way for whatever ends, who knows. But one thing that I thought was kind of cool about it is that it's not completely left in like the realm of bullshit. Like you can actually go to parts of the world and see parts of this machine like sticking out of the ground or
Sure.
entwined in buildings and stuff. So you can interact with it, but you can never know it.
Yeah, they make a point that it's a physical machine that can't be seen except for by demons.
And probably mages, because they can do everything.
They make a lot of points about it and how it works, and one of the things that I think works best for it is that it is kind of an unknown quantity, even when you understand it. Like the best thing you possibly know about it might not be right, and that is constant throughout the writing about it.
And I like that. I think I don't know. I think that it compared to like vampire and werewolf and mage, where they have really like not clearly defined antagonists and stuff, and the antagonists just tend to be the same sort of people as the players are. It's like the God Machine presents a very interesting threat to the players.
And to bring it around back to Demon a little bit, it's I was really excited about the way they cast the role of the Demon player characters as opposed to the God Machine, where they're essentially rebels against the order imposed by the God Machine and the commands of the God Machine, but they're not like freedom fighters. They're not like trying to overthrow it per se, but more that they basically refer to them as spies. They're trying to insinuate themselves in the infrastructure that the God Machine creates, so that they can basically steal its mojo without necessarily following its rules. And that's one thing I've heard a number of times, is that like you have like where mages are investigators, demons should be thought of as spies.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of a cool new take, like a new role.
Yeah, it gives you the, I guess, the sort of impression you might have in a regular mortal game where you are in constant danger, and there are constantly things more powerful than you wanting you. And that actually is a bit like Changeling, actually, which might be part of the draw of that game. But
Well, Changeling characters are in constant, mind-numbing terror. I think the demon characters seem a little bit more proactive about the way they deal with it, whereas a lot of the Changeling stuff is just about surviving and running away from your problem.
well, and one of the things is like you can, I mean, the God Machine, it's an incredible entity, but you have this sort of hope that you can compete because you are proof that it is not perfect, that even some of its functions defect.
And one thing I was really keen on when I came across it in it's pretty early on in the Quick Start document, is the idea that unlike most, not all, of the player characters in the different World of Darkness lines, the demons aren't natively human. They have a human identity, which is inherently a cover that they were given. So it's like they're spies, both basically infiltrating the machinations of the God Machine, but they're also basically deep undercover in mortal society.
If you look at the character sheet at the end of the Quick Start, it also seems to imply that you could have multiple covers, which is also an intriguing concept.
Well, I saw that. One of the things that they talked about, though, was they implied that they needed souls to keep themselves going, and I don't know if that's a part of that, or if the more souls they get, the more they can have, but they like really heavily implied that they needed souls to keep their themselves all sneaky and spyrific. But I didn't really see too much about it in there, actually, about what they use them for.
One of the concepts is that the God Machine needs to basically propagate these occult patterns that for some reason fuel it, or it likes them, or something along those lines. It really gave me like a House on Haunted Hill type of vibe when I was reading that, and I wonder if that plays into the demon needing that energy for part of its power.
They made a very brief reference to some of the demons infiltrating the God Machine's infrastructure and like stealing covers before they get used by angels.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that whole idea that you would go into the most dangerous place you possibly could just to get a new cover or to get a better cover, or you could even have a character who's like addicted to that sort of thing, and like that would be awesome. Like that one sentence of description, I was like, oh, that sounds so awesome.
Yeah.
And one thing that I came across, and I think this might have been online and not in the actual document itself, was the concept that the demons themselves have an energy trait called ether, which I believe they get primarily from they steal it from the God Machine infrastructure. But it was suggested that despite the fact that they use ether, angels still use essence mostly. So it's like it's a byproduct that they have to let the God Machine get away with some stuff, or else they won't be able to get it easily.
That is interesting.
that might just be fan speculation because I cannot remember where I read it, but it was
Well, we might be getting a little bit
They
ahead of
talked
ourselves,
about
but they
essence
have
and ether.
cost of ether costs in some of the exploits.
Oh yeah, for their and their I don't even know how they use embeds, but they have
Yeah.
the primary like powers of the demons are called embeds and exploits, and they when they described them, I was like, oh, those aren't hugely different. But when I was like reading about them, I'm like, oh no, those are pretty different in the way like how drastic the effects of them are.
It reminded me a lot of Mage, where you have basically subtle effects and vulgar effects.
Yeah.
yeah, more or less. And I couldn't quite tell like if they were meant to conform to certain categories or like power levels. I think that that's something that will probably be more obvious when the actual full rulebook comes out.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
Well, while we're talking about powers, how about that demon form? Did you guys read that shit?
Very briefly.
It mentions that the demon form gets 7 abilities, and I'm like, oh, okay, they're just gonna be dumb. And then I'm reading through the sample characters, and I'm looking at that, I'm like, wow, they really get 7 abilities. And they
Yep.
are cool, and it's like when your demon form goes up, you heal a bunch, and all of a sudden you've got all this crap you can do. Like, I was surprised by the level of detail on that.
I have a feeling that assuming your demon form is also going to be a pretty big like investment in like you're really investing in whatever you're trying to murder, because they were talking about how dangerous it is for demons to participate in violence in the first place, and then the demon form is like you're going like off the chains crazy violence.
Oh yeah, and it's like continuing with the
yeah.
espionage theme. It's like that is what you use when your cover is already blown, and you just need to try to complete your operation no matter what.
Yeah.
Because I think they said pretty specifically that it's like it's a super huge red flag for angels and anyone embedded in the infrastructure that when that happens, that is very obvious to them.
Yeah, I was telling Lee about this before right when I started reading it. One of them is called the rivet arm, which I was trying to think of what it was, and it just turns your hand into like some sort of tool, like a rivet or like a drill or something like that. I'm like, yep, that's probably a red flag to humans.
And on that same demonic form, you also get demonic horns, the ability to produce electricity, the ability to see electricity and hone in on signals, inhuman intelligence, the ability to radiate fire and create rains of fire around you, and the ability to turn two-dimensional, kind of. That's all in the same. That's one demonic form that all of that is loaded into.
It's like I have a feeling that the idea is that when it's like you know, as a player you get all of this this awesome customization on your demon form, and like when you assume it for any reason during the game, it's like a major moment. You know, it's like not only do you get to describe your whole character's like other madness-inducing persona, but then you also get to like go total balls to the wall badass, and it's just it was like reading through them is very very interesting, and it makes me want to make one like really bad.
Yeah, my initial thought is that I love this plot device to death, and I don't know that I would want to run a demon game, but I would love to use that plot in a game. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it looks so cool.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely. They have my attention. I want to know more about it.
Yeah.
Real bad. I want
Yeah.
I want to get the full picture of what the game is supposed to be about.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of hinted at like you could do some different things, but they also referenced how some demons just want to live their lives, and some of them want to like, you know, rebel against, but some of them also want to kind of live with and just.
Actually, one of the more intriguing character concepts that they mention is the demon who wants to reassume his place in the machine, but keep its sentience intact.
Yeah,
God, how do you
guy.
tell the people that you're playing with that that's your goal? You know, it's like, well, maybe I'll just keep that hidden from him for a while.
Eventually, I want to betray all of you and turn you back into angels.
I found those. I think they called them agendas. The basically the not necessarily groups, but philosophical associations of different attitudes about being good, being evil, disobeying the God Machine, or reintegrating with it. I found those very similar to the similar group associations in the old Demon game, where it was like you had like demons who wanted to figure out what was up with Lucifer, the king of the demons, or the people who wanted to try to repent and return to heaven, or the ones who wanted to just wheel and deal with humans to get as many souls in their sway. It's got that same sort of vibe, except that there isn't this perfectly good order at the top, and well, it wasn't perfectly evil in that game necessarily, but generally evil at the bottom. You have kind of it's just a band of gray, and you have to kind of pick almost blindly where you want to land on it to just see what you can make of this existence after you gain your freedom.
Yeah, this didn't really. I mean, I don't know if you can say this for any of the White Wolf games, but there didn't seem like a clear place for a person who was particularly just straight up good. I mean, you can have it in like mage, and vampire kind of skirts the line of where it's like, oh, I can be good up until a point, but I don't know. This seems kind of fall into line with that, where they're less.
Well, I think that depends on how you see and how your storyteller characterizes the God Machine itself, because while in general you can see efforts to combat the God Machine by these demon characters to be potentially self-serving, at the same time what it wants is unknown, but it seems suspicious and maybe bad.
Yeah.
And so trying to undermine its efforts would then be good, unless they're not.
Yep.
So it's all about getting as much intelligence as you can so that you can be making the informed decisions about what you want to do.
Also, and this might just be me liking this sort of thing, but the whole style of it, where it's not like like fire and brimstone and like holy angels and stuff, where it's like like the twisted machinery and all the nightmarish modern stuff that goes along, or like pseudo modern stuff, like the gears and electricity and stuff. Like that is really cool, just from an aesthetic perspective. Like that, it gives me a Silent Hill vibe in a really good way.
I really feel like they built
it sounds awesome.
an original and interesting game and just threw in names of like heaven and hell buzzwords. Like
pretty much.
Yeah.
I got that same kind of vibe. Like if you guys haven't read the original tiny short fiction story about the God Machine, which is in the front of the core World of Darkness book, you really should, because that was like one of those things that I read about a long time ago. It was amazing, but it was like I never had the gumption to try to use it for anything, and it didn't ever appear in like game rule information. It was just a little fiction blurb.
Yeah.
But then they were like, yeah, we're going to write this fiction anthology, and then after that we're going to release a whole book about it because everybody loves it. And it does have some. It's an idea that definitely has wheels, and I want to read more about it as soon as I can, more or less.
I wanted to. Oh, go ahead.
On that note, I thought that they said that they were done with the second proof, and they have one more proof. I think Rose Bailey, one of the people working on it, said that they were almost finished up on their second proof, and they had possibly a final proof and some more artwork. That was like half a week ago.
So the book is on its way.
Yeah, they had initially wanted it to be
pretty soon.
in fall, and I think they still might make it. So
That'd be pretty exciting. I'd be very interested to read that book. I haven't been like immediately drawn into a White Wolf setting like this one since reading the Geist book, who I liked a lot. And we're also sort of a morally gray thing with really clearly defined antagonists and stuff. So I like that sort of thing. What can I say?
Yeah.
But before we have to get going, I wanted to touch a bit on some system stuff.
Sure.
The God Machine, there's that rules update, but then also just reading in the quick start, there's some interesting narrative changes that I saw in there. There's things called conditions, which if you've played like a Fate type game, it's basically kind of like temporary aspects. These in the quick start rules, they help you get willpower back, but it keeps saying that in the base game it's supposed to help you get experience points.
They give you beats, it looks like, and you exchange so many beats to get experience.
Huh.
I think it's
Interesting.
4 beats per experience point, but it might be 5.
So resolving the condition gives you a beat, and then you trade in beats for experience, and then you trade experience in to raise abilities. But they drastically reduced the formula, so it's not an not exponential. It's a linear experience expenditure to raise.
Oh, good.
So you get a lot fewer experience points per session, but you spend a lot fewer experience points on everything.
Yeah.
Also, they made a what I think is a pretty significant change to like the core, what I consider to be like one of the core World of Darkness things. At least in this, I don't know if it's if it's part of the rules as a whole with the virtue and vice change.
Yep.
Sure.
Where your virtue is something that your character like thinks is virtuous, and your vice is something your character indulges in, even though it's not necessarily good for them or something like that, and it can be practically anything.
And that is really a
I forgot about
minor
that.
change, in my opinion. It was unnecessarily restrictive before, and it doesn't really change the way it works too badly.
Right.
With the update, as long as you pick something that's, fairly appropriate.
Yeah, and I think that's I think that it's a good change. I mean,
Sure.
when I say like major change, I mean not that it's a huge change. It's just that Virtue and Vice have been around in their previous incarnations forever.
I think a more major change is how what Exceptional Success is doing. That was one of the ones that I thought was kind of strange.
I can't really remember.
Exceptional Success gives you the Inspired Condition, which you can then resolve to gain a bonus on a future related roll.
Huh.
So in other words, if that is what I think it is, that means that doing things you're good at, makes you do better at those things in the future, and gives you beats. So basically, if you play towards your character's strengths, you get more experience.
That is weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
How that plays out with experience is odd. I mean, again, to be analogous to Fate, it reminded me a lot of boosts. And
Sure.
then for dramatic failures on the other opposite end of the scene, instead of only dramatically failing in the weird situation where you have a chance die, if you fail, you can just choose to dramatically fail, so you can get a condition, and then you get to roleplay that out and eventually get a beat.
You can also dramatically fail from rolling a chance die, though.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. That's still around, but still as rare and elusive as ever, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
It's the same.
I'm pretty sure the amount of chance die rolls we made in Jeff's last campaign, like the entire thing, was like personally, I could have counted them on one hand. They're like
I didn't make a
unicorns.
single one of them the whole game. Last time I played it with him.
Oh,
I
chance die?
I
No
couldn't tell
thanks.
you.
I'm going to Burger King. See you later.
A chance die? No thanks. I forgot that I wanted to do that.
I think better of shooting my gun. I will do anything else.
They also pretty substantially changed. Well, they changed a lot of different merits, both taking some out, adding new ones in, and changing existing ones. They changed. It changed a lot about the morality system as well. I didn't really have that much interest in it, though. I like what they did with it, but I just want to...
Was that the cover?
Well, in the core, in the rules update, I think they
Oh, the
call
rules
it
update.
integrity, and you
Okay.
have breaking points, and it's similar to the way it was before, except that it's more like it's supposed to be a little bit more. I don't want to say realistic, but they were kind of kicking to the curb the old system in favor of something. I don't know what you'd call it. A little bit more dynamic, I guess.
Sure.
Something that reflects how different people have different values, and how different, and how your morality isn't really a sliding scale in that way, but how the nightmarish things that you will encounter in the world of darkness can nonetheless affect both your morality and your sanity. And it kind of is meant to sort of basically talk about what your character can handle and what they are capable of.
I did not look
Yeah.
at that, but I am totally down for rolling the dice on a new morality system in White Wolf, because I
Yeah,
never
that is fine with
got
me.
into the previous one.
Yeah,
We
I was
didn't
gonna
use
say,
it very often as written, it seemed like to me.
I think
Yeah.
that was because it was so. I don't know. It was disappointing to me when I had initially read it,
Super
and
restrictive.
I I never really liked it, and I think
Right.
that's
Yeah.
kind of why we steered away from it right away.
and they tried to they made some changes to how it worked in Hunter when that came out, or specifically some optional rules that you could use. And I think that this is kind of an attempt to capture those. However, it's not executed in the same way at all. It's very much more integrated and kind of streamlined how they make it work. Again, like I said, I only read it briefly because, at the risk of sounding pretentious, yes, I never used morality before either, and I only am tempted to now because I'd like to see if it works better.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited about the changes that they did. I wish they would. I don't know. I like that. I like that they're keeping interest with the new World of Darkness
Yeah.
while still adding
And-
on to the old World of Darkness for people who still prefer that.
While the Demon game is the first one to come out with these new rules changes applied, I'm pretty sure they've already announced a similar Chronicle book for Vampire and for Werewolf, which are going to be incorporating these new rules changes, and of course updating the system specific rules. And I think one for Mage has been announced, but it is still pretty distant.
Yeah, that one will
Sure.
take them some time.
Are they kind of over? You think they're just gonna stop here and kind of keep going back into the past with their stuff, or? I mean, is there going to be a new World of Darkness?
Well, I don't think that they're gonna release a Chronicle book for Promethean or Geist. Changeling, I couldn't say because it's one of those fan favorites.
Ooh,
I guess I don't
Changeling-
really know that for sure that
Changeling
Promethean and
breeds.
Geist aren't, but I mean I know that they are doing like the 20th anniversary of the old World of Darkness. We have the old and the new. I can't imagine them making another level of newness.
Yeah.
But I think that if you liked the old one, you'll have more material for it. If you like the new one, they're going to keep publishing material for it as long as they can maintain interest, which I think so far I'm still interested, but
Yeah.
I can't buy every single book they come out with because I am but one man.
Sadly,
I mean-
only so much time to roleplay.
Words of wisdom.
You have
Yes.
the wisdom of two men, Ed.
Oh wow, that's pretty high praise. I
Mhm.
do have a big dome-shaped head though.
That is true.
If he has the wisdom of 2 men, then that's like 4.5 men worth of wisdom among the 5 of us.
Nice. I think we're doing pretty good then.
Yeah.
Wait, 5? Yeah, it's 5. Okay. I had to count. Only reinforcing. Making sure everyone knows.
I can't do math. Who are you calling dumb?
Me, Lee, and Ebo. Okay.
Yes, there you go.
Okay.
Maybe I should be downgraded to 1.5. Alrighty. I think that's about
Okay.
all we have to have to jaw about for these two products. Maybe when the Demon proper comes out, we'll probably have some more to gab.
Christmas
Yeah, man.
Oh
podcast?
man,
Yeah.
we will certainly gab. Oh man, if it comes out before Christmas, we should get somebody to run a Christmas demon game
Yeah.
where Santa's part of the God Machine and we have to
no.
kill
We're-
him.
Yeah, we're
making
gonna
me
con
sad.
Ed into running a demon one shot when it comes out.
Oh,
If
and
it
he's
co-
going to do it now because
I-
he's already thinking about it.
Well, I'm gonna do it now because you told me that I have to, and
I
because
know.
now that
Yeah,
you said
see?
that I have to, I definitely have
That's how it
to.
works.
Yep.
Our
All right.
last Christmas game worked.
All right. Well, check us out on the Twitter at House Rule. Send us an email at houserulepodcast@gmail.com. And of course, you can find us at houserule.com to check out podcasts, live stream, and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah. See ya.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Bye.
Bye.